Shabbat Shalom. I'm Cantor David Proser from Kempsville Conservative Synagogue, Kehilat Bet HaMidrash in Virginia Beach. And this is our Torah commentary for the Shabbat of May 16th, 2020, the 22nd day of ER 5780, Parshat Bahar, Bechukotai. We thank Rabbi Joseph Prauser, Rabbi Avraham Kogan, Rabbi Daniel S. Nevins, Rabbi Michael Gold, Rabbi Joyce Newmark, and the United Synagogue Torah Sparks series for their various teachings and publications on this week's Parsha. This Shabbat, May 16th, as we have already done 3 times in the past 7 weeks, we again read a combined double portion of Torah, Parshiyot Bahar and Bechukotai. Parshat Bahar begins on page 738 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash and page 531 of the Hertz. The Parsha begins with an extended discussion of the Shemitah, the sabbatical year, the last in an ongoing 7-year cycle. Once the Israelites had settled in the land, they were to plant, harvest, and store the produce of the land for 6 years. During this 7th year, similar to our weekly Shabbat on the 7th day, the land is given a rest. It is not sown or planted, reaped or pruned. What grows naturally is permissible for use. After 7 such 7-year cycles, the 50th year is observed as a Yovel, a jubilee. In addition to observing the restrictions associated with the sabbatical year, the jubilee is also marked by the restoration of property to its original owners and by the release of Hebrew slaves who have not yet been redeemed from servitude. Sellers and buyers alike are told to be scrupulously fair in real estate transactions, accurately adjusting costs and values as they draw closer to the Jubilee. So in reality, land in Israel was never actually sold, but only leased until the next Yovel, the next Jubilee. The underlying assumption of this system is that the land belongs to God, who lets us use it. We are to serve as stewards of the land, taking good care of it under a divine mandate. Houses in walled cities could be redeemed for a year after the date of sale and then passed permanently to the buyer. Houses outside these walled cities and houses in the cities of the Levites could not be sold permanently. They remained subject to redemption and reverted to the original owners at the Yovel. Parshat Bahar's most famous verse, in its 18th century translation, "Proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all the inhabitants thereof," from Leviticus 25, Pasuk 1, which refers to the Jubilee year, became the inscription on the Liberty Bell. The mandate for economic justice and fair business practices associated with the sabbatical and Jubilee years is extended to everyday treatment of people in financial straits. It is forbidden to charge advance or accrued interest on loans, and if an indigent Israelite should enter into servitude, he must not be subjected to harsh or demeaning labor. Such indentures are dissolved at the onset of the Jubilee. The commandment not to make or worship idols and to keep the Shabbat are repeated. Moving on to our second Parsha, Parshat Bechukotai, which begins on page 747 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash and page 542 of the Hertz presents a series of blessings that God will bestow upon the people Israel if they obey his commandments and comply with the covenant. In contrast, a much lengthier catalog of curses and harsh consequences is invoked as the punishments if the Israelites neglect God's law. This is the shorter of two sets of tochachot, curses, found in the Torah. The other is in Parshat Nitzavim in the book of Devarim. God's loyal devotion to the covenant, however, is unflagging. God assures the Israelites that even when they are exiled to the land of their enemies, even when Israel as a nation fails in its covenantal duties and forgets God, God will never forget or abandon Israel to destruction. God will continue to support and to shield Israel out of fidelity to the divine covenant with the ancients, referring either to the patriarchs or to the tribes of Israel that gathered at Sinai, or to both. Parshat Bechukotai continues with the valuation of possessions and livestock to assure payment for vows can be made properly. It describes the procedure for redemption of property and tithes consecrated to the sanctuary and the limitations placed on the redemption process. With the conclusion of Parshat Bechukotai, the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, also draws to a close. The divine authority for the sacrificial cult, the fundamentals of significant areas of Jewish ritual practice, and more specifically, the laws prescribed in the closing chapters are explicitly restated in the final verse. These are the commandments that the Lord gave Moshe for the Israelite people on Mount Sinai. As we complete the final verse of the book of Vayikra, we declare, Chazak, Chazak, v'nitzchazek. Be strong, and we will be strengthened. We do this because we have reached a milestone in our annual cycle of weekly Torah readings. We encourage each other and wish ourselves strength to continue reading weekly portions so that by Simchat Torah, we will have concluded the Torah and be ready to seamlessly begin again. This week's Haftorah is from the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 19 to chapter 17, verse 14, found beginning on page 763 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash and page 551 of the Hertz. The Torah portion proclaims the happy result of national faithfulness and the inevitable and disastrous consequences of national faithlessness to the divine law. The Haftorah is the utterance of the prophet who witnessed the destruction of the temple and the state through the religious and moral degeneracy of the nation. His words are thus an echo of the prophecy of Moshe. But Jeremiah's message here is one of great hope. Even heathen nations shall yet acknowledge the truth and moral sanity are only to be found in the revelation given to Israel. On this Shabbat of blessing and curses, let me conclude with a selection of some of the blessings of today's Torah portion for all of us. May God give us peace. May we lie down at night so that none will make us afraid. May not a weapon fall upon us. May God turn his attention to us and grant us prosperity. May God walk among us, close to us, enlightening us, keeping away any curses. And may we be a people to him, always feeling connected to him. And to this, we pray for protection from the current viral threat in our land and the complete healing of all those who suffer from it. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and as always, we look forward to the day hopefully coming soon when we can do this live in our own sanctuaries at Temple Israel and Kehillat Bet HaMidrash. Shabbat Shalom.